Everyone, Alex Tardy here with Weather Echo. We've got a cold, snowy insight for you. Unseasonably cold Pacific storm, yes, to hit California. And this means not only heavy precipitation to much of California, but also heavy mountain snow. This will be our biggest storm so far of the year. And it is a little bit unusual to have one in October like this, especially the snowfall. Let's take a look at things. So this is a computer model forecast. So every day, multiple times a day, computer models across the world make new predictions. What I've got here is from Saturday's prediction and from Sunday's prediction. And you can see there's quite a bit of consistency, perhaps even a little bit wetter in South Central California from Sunday. So this is precipitation. So you can equate almost all of this to snow in the Sierra Nevada and even parts of some of the mountains in Southern California. This is a really cold storm, so we'll see low snow levels. Quite unusual for October. In October, we do see atmospheric rivers and we do see significant storms, maybe every other year, but this is a very cold storm. So we're talking big feet of snowfall in our mountains. So some of these numbers are not exact, but you get the idea of how significant it is. So this is one model forecast. Okay, this is several model forecasts, and what this looks at is the tap of moisture. So in order to have a storm, you need cold air, you need wind, and you need moisture, and you need a way to lift that. So the storm itself, or the dynamics of the storm, can lift that and form the precipitation. And this basically evolves or develops over the Eastern Pacific. And we'll go into how and where this storm comes from. So this is not the moisture that came up from Priscilla. That moisture is well to our east. You can see it pushed off in the east in the dark green there. This is new Pacific moisture that's going to gather on Monday and then really focus on Tuesday. Okay, as we get into Tuesday, you can see a band of it stretches up into the southern Sierra Nevada. So that'll be the focus. And that band slowly shifts to the east and weakens a little bit later on Tuesday. So this is the moisture ingredient that is needed for this specific storm. Otherwise, we still would see precipitation, but it'd be more scattered and much lighter, not as organized with such a cold storm. What do we mean by a cold storm? We mean unusually cold. I point the arrow to the center of the storm. And this type of storm you typically see maybe in December. This is a very cold storm, so it's showing up as blue to dark blue, which means anomalously cold. Colder than normal, okay? This is tapping into cold air directly out of Canada. But what's important is it's pushing the center right along the California coast, allowing it to tap into that Pacific tropical moisture. Okay, it's slow moving too. It's not cut off from the jet stream, but it's closed off. So it still has a lot of jet stream energy. So it's not going to stall, stop, and break away from the jet stream, which is a cutoff system. It is a closed system, so it's compact and very cold. A lot of energy in the center. And that also brings the low snow levels and the dynamic lift to produce that heavy precipitation. Okay, by Wednesday of next week, notice the blue is pretty much gone, just some light shaded there. So it modifies. So we really tap that cold air from Canada, compact it into a California storm, and then it starts to open up as it gets caught back up in the jet stream, and energy around it allows it to exit across the northern Great Basin. So it's weaker. It's still a big storm, but it's weaker by Wednesday as it moves inland. So California gets the brunt. Okay, where does it come from? Well, it comes directly from the north as shown by the arrow here. It's not the storm that moved through this morning and overnight that brought thunderstorms and some snow to northern Utah. It's a new system. And you see that big H in the Pacific, that upper level ridge, which has been persistent the past year or so, it comes directly down from the north. So we call this a very amplified pattern. It's a tricky pattern. It's typically not forecast well beyond several days. And in fact, about 10 days ago, the same computer models I'm showing here were showing it to move across Seattle to Boise. Now they're showing totally different. And the trend's been over the past several days to take it directly south and almost west into California. So it's coming due north in Canada, Western Canada, and dropping down to San Francisco. And this is what I mean. It's tracking so amplified, it's so much energy and cold air behind it and on the back side of it that it's digging into California. So it creates a direct hit. Now, if this were to go by to the east, like originally predicted about 7 to 10 days ago, it would go across Seattle and Boise, and we would get offshore flow, dry conditions. We'd be on the wrong side of it. So a very amplified pattern. Now, these amplified patterns are not unusual. They tend to occur more often in La Niñas and even neutral years. But these amplified patterns can be very beneficial for precipitation, and they also come with very cold air. But if you're just 200, 300 miles away from this, you can be on the wrong side of it, meaning the dry side. So the storm is taking a track right over central California, as shown here, on Monday and Tuesday. Okay, is this an atmospheric river? Well, yes, because it's so large, so powerful, such a big wind field, and it goes over the eastern Pacific long enough, it taps into Pacific tropical moisture, as shown here. It literally rips it, not from the tropics, but from parts of the Pacific, and then focuses that wind energy and moisture transport right into central California, as shown here. And it also curls it up, because it's a closed low, the circulation of the upper low, it curls it up into the Sierra Nevada. So that's the target area for the most energy, the coldest air, and this precipitation and moisture field. Okay, will we see that the rest of the winter? Well, the general pattern, as we have been predicting the past month or so, is for this amplified upper level ridge or blocking system to continue in the East Pacific. So that could mean for much of the winter, especially in December for California, but really most of the country, wetter, snowier over the northern part of the country, a lot of cold air building up, colder than usual in Western Canada and Central Canada, but really warm conditions over most of the United States, as shown here. Now, this pattern won't be every day, every month. Right now, it's looking like December we'll see a lot of this, but at times it'll shift across, as shown here, the central U.S., the Great Lakes, and even getting the Northeast active and snowier than usual. So that jet stream pattern, it's split because you see there's a big tropical surge of moisture and precipitation and active jet stream over Hawaii. Then you see that dry conditions with the upper level ridge. So that's a split pattern. But a lot of that energy will be focused along that black line through December through February. So the bottom line is snowier, wetter for the northern Great Basin, snowier, wetter for the Great Lakes, and drier for the southeast and for parts of Northern California. And overall warmer across much of the United States, but a lot of cold air built up will occasionally break through with Arctic outbreaks, especially later in this period, especially in the period in the heart of the winter to the latter part of the winter, as shown here. So anyway, thought you'd give you this outlook, and this outlook does include conditions from October as well. All right, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the big storm. This is a big storm, so be safe. There could be some localized flooding, even in urban areas. There could be effects on burn scars from bursts of heavy rain on Monday and Tuesday. And overall, major snowfall of 1 to 3 feet in our mountains of central and southern California. So the Sierra Nevada, for concerns of snow up around 3 feet for places like Mammoth. So we're talking, yes, chain control, significant snow. We're talking heavy rain along coastal areas, along the valleys, and even affecting burn scars on Monday and Tuesday coming up. More information can be found on our blog, so sign up, and we'll post real-time information on X as well. And you can watch YouTube shorts as well and follow us on TikTok. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Be safe.